What's going on, everybody? This is Nathan here from Backyard Auto. I got my clutch cable that I screwed up in the last part. If you haven't watched the other two parts in this series, make sure you go check them out so you're not out of order. Nobody for some reason had this clutch cable in stock, and I'm trying to get this bike done, like I said in last dog. I'm trying to get this bike done at a decent time so that next week we're going to put in bay. So I'd like to get this bike done as soon as possible. For some reason, nobody had this clutch cable. I called several Harley-Davidson dealers. I've called several aftermarket motorcycle dealers. I thought for sure I would have to just order this online. However, Santa's Motorcycle Shop up in Cleveland, Ohio had this in stock, and they had several sizes of this cable. So if you ever need any parts, make sure you hit those guys up. Not a sponsor, but man, they really came in clutch for this build. I'm trying to get this thing done at a decent time, so let's go ahead and waste no further time and install this cable. To do these clutch cables, there's this pin right here. As you can see, there is a snap ring that you pop off, and then that just slides right out, and then your lever comes out so you can undo your cable. So let's go ahead and rip this thing out of there. I got it. And this pin just slides right out like so. Once you get your cable off, there's just a piece of plastic that keeps the spring in there, and then that's how you take it out. Now let's get the new one. Nice, and this does come with the gasket for the primary side. And I think it comes with the plastic pin too. It does. Ooh, and the sticker! It comes with a sticker! Heck yeah. You know it's a good brand if it comes with a sticker. So you take the loop, go through the clutch handle, slide the pin through, like so. I'm gonna lubricate this pin because this is a pivot point. Like that. So I have this assembled to my clutch lever. You wanna have this hook side go into here. This is what actually holds your clutch lever into the handlebar. You just slide it straight in like this. Feed your clutch cable through. And now you're gonna install your pin. What did I do with that? Alright, so I got my clutch lever pin. Like so. And now my snap ring. I believe I could just get this on by hand. Oh, it's stretched. My retainer ring kind of got bent open. So I'm just going to close it a little bit. You don't want to go too much, or else it'll be a pain to install. You just need enough for it to snap on. That's on. So now to actually install it again. It is still a 916. It's awesome. So what I learned from the last video is once it's tight, leave it alone. Oh, I need my O-ring. Don't forget that. Alright, you don't want it to leak. So, here's the O-ring. Beautiful. Now I could go ahead and install our lever. I think I might remove this again. Take my cable out just so that I can like flex this thing, because it's just too tight. I'm gonna set all that there for now, because I need to at least get this started. Does that make it any easier? When it's packaged like that, it's packaged in a tight loop. It makes things so much more harder to make sure it's not cross-threading. It looks pretty straight. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going any more than that. Stopping right there. I learned my lesson. Alright, so now that that's on, I can put all of this back together. There. Install my pin. Oh, I gotta compress that again. It's barely on there. Just compress this snap ring a little bit. How about now? There we go. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and install the drain plug before I forget. That'd be really funny to just dump all the fluid on the floor. It's a 16 millimeter. Alright, so that's on there. So before you install this secondary clutch lever thing, you have to first install this adapter. So this goes on your clutch cable and it tightens like that. And once you have that on, you have this hook that hooks onto here and locks it in place. So let me give us some slack or tighten this up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and tighten up this. So the way you do that is by bringing this down. That tightens up the clutch cable because we have way too much slack right now. Let's go ahead and install this back on. Like so. So this nut actually threads into the shaft. So the way you have to do this is you gotta get your flat blade screwdriver and put it in here. So yeah, I'm just on the end of the threads with my flat blade screwdriver, threading this in. So these take a quart of Harley-Davidson's primary fluid. I just got Harley-Davidson's, it's not too bad in cost. So get yourself a really skinny funnel to fit down in here. I just figured it'd be easier like this while the chain's all loose. It gets out of your way when you're pouring fluid in it. What's the whole quart? So I just looked in the service manual and you have to have it in neutral to check the chain tension. So we have to shift the bike for the first time. I'm nervous. So we gotta put on our shifter stuff back on and try it. That's nerve-wracking, but we gotta do it. This piece goes behind here. It goes straight up and down like this. We're gonna start with my bolts. I'm like really nervous. I've never worked on one of these before. Never, ever, ever worked on one of these. In case you're wondering, these two large bolts are 5/16 if you have forward controls. Alright, that's in. Alright, let's try to shift this thing. I'm gonna put some gloves on. The only thing I could think of that I did wrong is that the fact that it was stuck in 5th gear and I had to take the case off while I was in 5th gear. But other than that, there's no reason why this shouldn't shift into neutral. So on that note, let's try to shift it. So that should be first. That should be neutral. Too high. There's neutral. Okay, so I'm in neutral. Oh, I'm shifting. Oh my gosh, let's go. Alright, so this nut is a 7/8. I'm gonna go ahead and break this loose. Just like that. I know it's not a 7/8 wrench, but it's what I got, literally. So, they say you should have the chain relaxed and then you go up to 1.25 inches when you push up on it. The bottom side of the chain, so the bottom side of the chain is about at a 3/4 mark and we're at the 1 inch mark, so we need to loosen this. This is too tight, which could cause hard shifting. That's pretty good right there. So I start at about 3/4 and I push up and I'm going to 1.25 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and snug this up and I'll of course test ride it and go from there. So we need to hold this steady and try not to move it. Alright, let's double check my measurement now that everything's tight. 3/4 to, yep, 1.25 inches. Cool. Alright, so you want to loosen the cable as much as you can up. So this aftermarket cable, this jam nut is now a 12mm and the actual cable is a 1/2 inch. I didn't have the right standard wrenches, so I have metric and SAE.
Did it work?
I'm working on it right now.
Oh, I thought I heard it running.
No.
Oh.
It's probably the lawnmower. So now that we got the maximum amount of slack in our cable, I'm gonna go and remove this spring and this nut. Tighten until you feel a little bit of resistance, which is right there. Then go a quarter turn.
What?
Yeah. Until you feel a little bit of resistance, then go a quarter turn.
Quarter turn in more?
No, back. Yeah. So yeah, you go counterclockwise until you feel resistance. There you go. A quarter turn back. Righty tighty. Pretty dang close, right? Oh my gosh, video's ruined. Now you go ahead and put on my cover. Primary cover is back on. Yay! So you pretty much go by how much slack you have in your clutch lever of how tight you need to go. So you want to back the screw off and extend the cable. I'm going to extend it until the clutch lever has little play. We'll test it and see how it is. Alright, it's beginning to get tighter on the handle. But there's still some play right there, so we're going to keep on going. That's pretty good. Alright, now it's getting stiff, so I want a little bit of play at the end. I think that's pretty good right there. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go and take my nut all the way up and jam it. Put my dust boot over. Before I do that, actually, I'm gonna put some grease on there. Like that. And the dust boot will keep dirt from getting into the threads. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna put my clip back on. Now let's go get the keys. Here we go. There's neutral. Alright. That is a whole lot better. Oh my gosh, it moves. So we're gonna go ahead and drop it off the lift and take it outside and put in first gear and see if I feel any lunging. Make sure those clutches aren't slipping at all. And I think we're done. I'm ready for put in bay. Let's go take it outside. Oh, that was so easy. Wow.